بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونستهديه ونتوب إليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما ألا وإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله جل وعلا وخير الهدي هدي رسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. Today as we continue inshallah ta'ala with our second lesson focusing on the book of 200 or more words in the Qur'an that may be misunderstood, we focus on the word dhanna or the verb dhanna and its different derivatives and its meaning. And the author, Allah Azza wa Jal, bless him and have mercy on him, he utilizes the ayah from Surah Al-Baqarah, the 46th ayah, قوله تعالى الذين يظنون أنهم ملاقو ربهم وأنهم إليه راجعون. And the English translation for that is those who are certain that they will meet their Lord and that they will return to him. ويقول أي يتيقنون وهذا مأخوذ من تفسير الطبري, that this is the meaning is that they are certain, and this is taken from the tafsir of Imam al-Tabari rahmatullahi alayhi wa radi anhu. وهذه من الاستعمالات العربية التي قل تداولها في هذا العصر. He says, and this is from among its usages in the Arabic language, meaning its meaning of dhanna meaning certainty, that it's from the usage in the Arabic language. And then he mentions that it's not used that much in this time. And he says, وَلَيْسَ مَعْنَاهَا هُنَا يَشُكُّونَ. He says, and its meaning here is not that they are uncertain. So let's see something here. Ibn Faris rahmatullahi alayhi mentions in his epic dictionary of the Arabic language, Maqayis al-Lugha, taking the root letters and telling us the meanings of the words based on the root letters. He says, al-dha'u wal-nun. So these two letters of dha and nun together, usaylun sahihun. That this is an authentic, legitimate, this is a clear and it's an established word in the Arabic language. And he says, يَدُلُّ عَلَى مَعْنَيْنِ مُخْتَلِفَيْن. It indicates two meanings. It has two meanings, and the interesting thing is that both of the meanings are actually opposites of each other. So each of the words is an opposite of each other. So what is it? On one hand, it means yaqeen, which is certainty, and on the other hand, it means shak, which is doubt. So it's interesting, and you have these words in the Arabic language. And he then goes on to say, وَهُوَ بِمَعْنَى الْيَقِينِ وَفِي الْقُرْآنِ هَذَا كَثِيرٌ. He says, and he uses, for example, in this case, this ayah and other ayat, he says that the meaning in this case is certainty. And this is based on the context, understanding the context of what is mentioned within the verse as a whole. He says, and this is plentiful in the Qur'an. There's a lot of this in the Qur'an. So let's take a look at the ayah, the first one that is mentioned in Surah Al-Baqarah, the 45th and 46th, pardon me, and see what it's referring to in general. It is from قوله تعالى وَاسْتَعِينُوا بِالصَّبْرِ وَالصَّلَاةِ وَإِنَّهَا لَكَبِيرَةٌ إِلَّا عَلَى الْخَاشِعِينَ. الذين يظنون أنهم ملاقو ربهم وأنهم إليه راجعون. Allah Azza wa Jal is commanding us and seek help through patience, sabr, as well as as-salah. And of the definitions that's also given in the tafsir is that for sabr here it's actually referring to fasting. So seek your patience with Allah Azza wa Jal through worshipping Him, through having patience, through fasting, as well as through your prayers as a whole. And He tells us Jalla wa Ala, and indeed it is difficult. What's difficult? It's difficult to seek patience and to seek patience through the means of turning yourself to Allah Azza wa Jal and through worship. All too often we want to seek patience through turning to this person, turning to that material need, turning to this physical means, brainstorming, thinking how we can all, get through this, that, whatever the case is. And all of those things are good. But first and foremost, the foundation, the platform that all of this help that we are seeking, it needs to be built on the belief that Allah Azza wa Jalla is the one that can decree the help, that He can make these things happen. Therefore, put our foundation with Allah Jalla wa Ala of belief and trust in Him. And then we go ahead and engage in the worship of Him Subhanahu by being patient, by fasting, by praying, du'as, and everything else of that sort. And then we proceed forward in everything else of what's within our abilities. And He's telling us it's difficult. Certainly, this is a difficult thing, except for al-khashi'een, the people that are given this character trait. And that means for those who are humbly submissive, as is mentioned here in the translation, humbly submissive to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. That khushu' in that sense that there's a stillness, of the body, there's a stillness of the mind, there's a stillness of the being that is founded in the awe of Allah Rabbul Alameen, the greatness of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Right? And then the ayah continues telling us that these people, الَّذِينَ يَظُنُّونَ أَنَّهُمْ مُلَاقُ رَبِّهِمْ, those who are certain, right? Because in the context it wouldn't make sense if the meaning was those who are doubtful that they are going to meet their Lord and that they are certainly going to return to Him, right? So the meaning here is clearly that they are certain that they are going to meet their Lord and that they will certainly return to Him. Well, what else? There's another ayah that also uses, and there's plenty of this throughout the Qur'an, plenty of times, and perhaps Allah knows best, I haven't done a study of it, and I haven't come across anything to indicate whether the majority of the dhann in the Arabic that is used in the Qur'an, of course, the Arabic, that is probably meaning certainty. But here's another example, and it's also in Al-Baqarah, and there's several of these throughout Surah Al-Baqarah. And this is the case of what Allah Azza wa Jal tells us in Surah, in ayah number 249. He says, Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, فَلَمَّا فَصَلَ طَالُوتُ بِالْجُنُودِ قَالَ إِنَّ اللَّهَ مُبْتَلِيكُمْ بِنَهَرٍ فَمَنْ شَرِبَ مِنْهُ فَلَيْسَ مِنِّي وَمَنْ لَمْ يَطْعَمْهُ فإنه مني إلا من اغترف غرفة بيده فشربوا منه إلا قليلا منهم فلما جاوزه هو والذين آمنوا معه قالوا لا طاقة لنا اليوم بجالوت وجنوده قال الذين يظنون. Here's the shahid here. Here's the part that we're focusing on. قال الذين يظنون أنهم ملاقو الله كم من فئة قليلة غلبت فئة كثيرة بإذن الله والله مع الصابرين. And when Saul, Talut, the Arabic and the English, his name is given as Saul. So when Saul went forth with the soldiers, he said, indeed, Allah will be testing you with a river. So whoever drinks from it is not of me, and whoever does not taste it is indeed of me, except one who takes from it in the hollow of his hand. A person takes a cupful of water from his hand and drinks, and that's it. But they drank from it except very few of them. Then when he had crossed it along with those who believed with him, they said, there is no power for us today against Jalut, Goliath, in his soldiers. But those who were certain, here's the Arabic word, yadhunnun, it's not doubtful, but those who were certain that they would meet Allah said, How many a small company has overcome a large company by the permission of Allah, and Allah is with the patient. And naturally in this we know that David, that he kills Jalut, Goliath. But the point here is to understand that the word yadhunnun, and these are verbs in these cases, that it's referring to certainty. And in this there is a lesson for us, that obedience to Allah Rabbul Alameen is very important. And we see in both of those two ayat of what were mentioned that obedience to Allah Azza wa Jal is key. And when we know the greatness of Allah Azza wa Jal, we see His magnificence, we see His love, His mercy, His kindness, His providence, everything of goodness that He is for us, we should naturally want to submit ourselves to Him. Worship for us is how we want to further show our love for Him Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. And when we do that, we are then better able to, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, have that certainty that we are going to meet Him Jalla wa Ala, and that we live our lives with meaning, with purpose each day, knowing that in doing so, when we stand before Him, we will be from the winners. And even though we may be few in number, we may be few in quantity, so long as the quality is there, Allahu Jalla wa Ala will see us through and will bless us in all that we do. And this is where I pray that Allah Azza wa Jal help me and help all of us to have that quality of Iman, to have that sincerity of belief in Him Subhanahu, and that we emulate that in following His Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in everything of his beliefs, his worship, and his lifestyle as a whole. Allahumma ameen. Wa sallallahu wa sallam wa barak ala nabiyyina Muhammad. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.